อากาศเย็นๆนะเสียงจะหายไป
Today the weather is quite cold and he might lose his voice as the weather gets cold.
พวกที่มาเรียนวันอาทิตย์นะหลวงพ่อสังเกตมานานแล้ว
For those who come to the temple on Sunday, Luangpu has been observing this. Their minds are usually more calm than the people who come on Saturday.
หรือเกิดความสำรวมระวังพรุ่งนี้จะไปทำงาน
Or maybe you guys are
เกิดความกระดีกระดาเดี๋ยวจะไปเที่ยว
more prepared to go back to work on Monday. Comparing to Saturday, your minds are happy because it's the weekend. For Dhamma, it will only work if you learn about it and practice. But just to learn and not practice, one might have the ego of thinking that they knows everything. But to truly practice, it doesn't mean that you have to sit and do the walking meditation all day. To keep the precepts is also consider practice. The practice cover many of things. It's about keeping the precepts, cultivate your wisdom, cultivate your samadhi. When Luangpa learned with the master might did not go into detail when they teach the students. And when Luangpa learned from them, Luangpa after he heard from this brief teaching, and then Luangpa brought it and tried himself to practice himself. It's all about trial and observing the mistakes.
นอกจากอาศัยบารมีครูบาอาจารย์อบรมสั่งสอนสิ่งที่สำคัญคือโยนิโสมนสิการ
How Luangpa succeed is from the teaching from the masters and also from evaluating himself. For example, when once he got stuck in this space that is always bright and is always under control, and it felt like the mind was stable, but the Lord Buddha said that the mind is impermanent, and it felt like his mind was under control. But the teaching of the Lord Buddha is that the mind is not under control. All the fabricated things, the mind, they all fall under the three characteristics that they are impermanent, non-self, and suffering. The word Dhamma is cover more than just fabrication, because Dhamma covers the things that are fabricated and the things that is not fabricated.
มันควรจะไม่เที่ยงมันควรจะเป็นทุกข์แล้วก็มันควรจะบังคับไม่ได้ควบคุมไม่ได้
And when he observed feeling and when he got stuck, it felt like the mind was stable, brightened, but it did not follow the Lord Buddha's teaching, and it felt like it was always happy. And Luangpa thought to himself, why was it always happy and always under control? When he wanted to go to that place of the stable place, he could do that right away. But he did not understand what went wrong. He knew that it was wrong, but he didn't know what went wrong because it did not match. It did not follow the Lord Buddha's teaching. He could tell that it was not right, something was not right, but he could not tell what mistake he made. And then he went to see Venerable Luang Ta Mahabua, and he asked the master that he said that he was observing his mind, but he was stuck. And then after Luang Ta Mahabua took a look at Luang Pa, he said, when you said you are observing your mind, you are not exactly observing your mind now. Try reciting Buddha. After Luang Pa heard this advice, he backed away and he tried reciting Buddha, but the mind dislikes reciting Buddha. And then Luang Pa evaluated himself again. Oh, why would Master say that for me to recite Buddha? It must mean that because Luang Pa did not have enough samadhi. That's why the master told him to practice by recite Buddha. And for the master, he practiced by reciting Buddha. But for Luang Pa, his object of meditation that was suitable to him was to breathe in and say Buddha and breathe out and say Do. After he tried that, the mind came together and he attained the correct samadhi. And he found out that what went wrong was that he did not have enough samadhi. The mind was truly a stable observer. So the mistake that he made, that he did not have enough samadhi and his mind was not truly a stable observer, so the mind was out. So it is very important to evaluate yourself as you practice. When Luang Pa evaluated himself, he knew that something was wrong, and he did not know what went wrong. So he went to Kalyana Mitra or his master to ask what mistake he might make. So first, you should rely on evaluating yourself and also go to the masters and ask for their advice. And after you receive the advice, try following the advice. And when you first try the advice, it might not work. Evaluate yourself again, what you might have done wrong. Like when he first reciting Buddha, he did not like it, and he realized that maybe this object of meditation was not suitable to him, so he used his preferred way of practice, which is to breathe in and say Buddha and breathe out and say Do to obtain the right samadhi. In summary, for all the practitioners, we have to rely on Kalyana Mitra, which is our master. And the second thing is Yoniso Manasikara, which is constantly evaluating oneself, examining oneself. Many of the teachings might sound the same, that they all talk about the three characteristics: non-self, impermanent, suffering, talk about the four foundations of mindfulness. If you can evaluate yourself, examine yourself, when you listen to different masters, you can see that they are all different. Many of the practitioners, when they listen to the teaching and they brought it to try themselves, they thought that they have the mindfulness or sati, but actually they are over-focusing on their body and their mind. That is not a true sati. It's trying to control yourself. It's not in the middle path. When you over-focus, over-control yourself, you can break your mind. You can lose your mind. You may see that even the teachers or the students, if they lost their mind, they can lose their minds when they practice wrong. So as you practice, examine yourself, evaluate yourself. Is the wholesomeness arise more often? Is unwholesomeness arise less often? If you have sati, if you are more mindful, if you have more wisdom or not. Wholesomeness, does it arise or not? Does it prosper or not? Like if you practice and you don't have a lot of mindfulness, when you first start, you may not have a lot of sati or mindfulness. Like when Luangpo started to practice, learning from Luangpu Dun, when Luangpu Dun told Luangpo to observe the mind, Luangpo's mind goes toward the object. After Luangpo looked at that, and then the mind let go of the object. And then after Luangpo realized that the mind goes to attach to the object again. And Luangpo observed that for 7 days, the mind separate to the object from the object. The second time, it's separated from the object for 7 days. And then the mind got attached to the object again. And then Luangpo observed again, and it took him 5 days for the object to separate, for the mind to separate from the object. And then it get attached to the object again. And then the next time Luangpo look at it, it takes 3 days. So it takes less and less days for the mind to separate from the object. So as the mind remember that it is moving toward the object, as the mind recognizes, it can recognize this faster and faster. And after it let go, it sees how the mind moves toward the object, the normal mind would arise. This is wholesomeness. So sati would arise more often. Wholesomeness would arise more often. So the time that the mind would be lost is less. The time that you are aware of yourself is more often. This is how you measure your progress. Like if you practice and you feel that you are drowsy and dull as you practice, or if you are over-focusing and stressed, that is not it. We should evaluate ourselves, examine ourselves if we have less defilement or not, if wholesomeness arises more often, So we should evaluate ourselves from wholesomeness and unwholesomeness. Don't measure your progress by the length of time you do the walking or sitting meditation. Because some may sit all day and you are just drowsy, and or if you do the walking meditation all day long, but you walk with greed or trying to control yourself, that is not it. Because you are doing the practice with greed. So be careful. Sometimes the defilement tells you how to practice, tells you to practice. So evaluating oneself is very, very important. Especially in this time, because we do not know exactly who are the true masters, because the Buddha has been gone for many years. You don't know exactly who exactly are enlightened beings. Luangpo one time went to different province and he saw a sign say that we are the group of Kalyana Mitra or of your friend. But you cannot say for sure if they are. So the most important thing is to have yoniso manasikara or self-examine. So notice carefully what we have, what we are. Does it follow the Lord Buddha's teaching or not? If it doesn't follow the teaching, then maybe we are doing something wrong. Like when you are not practice or you are practice incorrectly, then unwholesomeness would arise more frequently and more strong. So keep noticing yourself and compare your practice, your result, to the teaching in the text, in the Tipitaka. This is how Luangpo practice. On his path of this learning, this Dhamma learning, Luangpo only asked the masters, rely on their advice only for 6 times. Many times that Luangpo didn't even ask, didn't start asking yet, but the master already told him what the mistake was. One time Luangpo wanted to ask the master when he was a lay person that how to let go of the craving. Luangpo tried to practice, try many ways, try many approaches. Like he tried contemplating on the filthy things, and then the craving went away just for a little bit, but then it came back. Every time when the perception and interpretation came back, he got attached to different objects again, and he did not know how to completely let go of it. But he can let go of it from time to time, so it is not permanent. So Luangpo ponder how to forever let go of the craving. And then he met Luangpu Dun. Luangpu Dun told Luangpo to not send the mind out. So when Luangpo heard this teaching, at first he tried to prevent the mind from going out. So instead of sending mind out, he sent the mind inside. So instead of trying to see things, he revert the mind inside, not to see his internal, like internal intestines or not anything like that, but to send the mind inside. But not to the actual heart, but to the center of the mind, and then we started to see how the defilement arise. And he pondered where the defilement and when the defilement would arise. So he moved his mind inward, deep inside, and he started to observe the defilement that arise. When the defilement arise, when he saw that, the defilement would retract it back deep down, and Luangpo follow the defilement, and Luangpo satisfied that it didn't matter where the defilement would hide out. He would follow the defilement. He kept searching down, deep down. And then one day Luangpo went to see Luangpu Sun. Luangpu Sun was very, very powerful, a great master. Many people do not know about Luangpu Sun, and he's only been gone for less than 30 years.
หลวงปู่สิมพอเห็นหน้าหลวงพ่อ
Luangpu Sim, when he saw Luang Po, he pointed at Luang Po's face and said, "Nowhere, nowhere, don't go inside. The defilement is not inside.
ไม่ต้องถามเลยนะ
Come out."
เห็นหน้าท่านเล่นงานเลยว่าผู้รู้ท่านเรียกหลวงพ่อว่าผู้รู้
Luang Po didn't even have to ask. Luangpu Sim knew right away what to say to Luang Po.
เราก็รู้หลวงปู่ดูลบอกออกนอกก็ผิดไว้เข้าข้างในก็ผิดอีกแล้ว
So he realized Luangpu Dun told him not to send the mind out. Luangpu Sim told Luang Po not to send the mind in. So Luang Po said, "Then what to do next? Then I will keep the mind in the middle."
ที่เราจะมีสติรู้กายรู้ใจตามความเป็นจริงด้วยจิตที่ตั้ง
See, Luang Po make mistake. Luang Po didn't see the mind as it is. Luang Po tried to fabricate the mind, not to send out, not to go in, and to stay in the middle. It's all wrong because it's still doing something to the mind, fabricating something to the mind.
ผู้ใดเข้าถึงความเป็นกลางจะพ้นจากทุกข์ทั้งปวง
And then he remembered Luangpu Tet, Venerable Luangpu Tet's teaching. Luangpu Tet told that one would be liberated when one is having equanimity. At first, Luang Po make a mistake by trying to make the mind stay in the middle.
ถ้าจิตไปอยู่กับอารมณ์ก็ไม่เป็นกลางเราจะต้องไม่เอาทั้งสองฝั่งนี้คิดอย่างนี้นะความโง่
Luang Po thought, make a mistake by thinking that if the mind goes toward the object, then the mind is not neutral. When the mind is sitting out, then the mind is not neutral. So Luang Po tried to make the mind stay in the middle of the object and sending the mind out.
กำหนดลงไปจิตมันก็เริ่มเคลื่อนจะเข้าไปในความว่างพอจิตมันจะแตะเข้ากับความว่างจะเข้าไปตั้งที่ความว่างหลวงพ่อไม่ให้มันแตะหลวงพ่อทวนกระแสเข้ามาหาจิตทวนกระแสเข้ามาที่จิต
So when Luang Po practiced, when he saw that the mind is going to this empty void, when he saw that, he tried to move the mind back out to the mind. He tried to control the mind out. And then one time, the mind felt like it disappeared, that there was no world, everything disappeared. And he thought that this is the middle path. He tried to make the mind not going to the object and back to not being stuck in the mind. He thought that this is Nibbana state. He stayed like that for a little while, and then he realized, see, he used self-evaluating again that if he stay here, he did not know the suffering because the Buddha told his disciple to know the suffering because everything was just emptiness, there's nothing there. So Luang Po realized that he must make another mistakes again. So this is reading from the Buddha's teaching that the Buddha told his students to know all the suffering. But as Luang Po got stuck at the void, at the emptiness, there's nothing. He thought that this was Nibbana. But it did not follow the Lord Buddha's teaching again. It's not knowing the suffering, but it was escaping from the suffering, running away from the suffering. After he realized that this type of practice is another type of samatha practice, this type of samatha is not holding to anything. This is how, if you want to practice samatha, type of samadhi, this is one way. One day, Luang Po went to Chiang Mai province, and there was a party after work. หลวงพ่อ didn't stay at the party. He went to the temple called Santitham Temple. หลวงพ่อ knew the monk there, the master there. So หลวงพ่อ went to visit the master. He didn't want to stay at the party. He rather go to the temple instead of staying in the party and drink with his colleagues. So as he took a bus to the temple, and after he got up the bus, he wanted to see that master. He saw a monk standing in front of the temple waiting for him, and it said that Master Bunjan was waiting for him. Please go to see Master Bunjan. หลวงพ่อ did not know Master Bunjan then, and it was night at that time. To go see a monk, the master is not. It does not proper to go see the master in the evening. The master that หลวงพ่อ so หลวงพ่อ refused, say no to that monk, and went to see Master Tong In that หลวงพ่อ had an appointment with. And then after he came out from 1 hour, he came out and he saw that the monk was still standing there, shivering from the cold. So he felt bad for the monk. He said, "Okay, I'll go see Master Bunjan then." Master Bunjan was ill at that time. He was staying in the wooden hut, and it was a cold day, a cold night, and he had a cloth covering him. He was waiting for หลวงพ่อ. As หลวงพ่อ saw Master Bunjan, the monk that invited หลวงพ่อ moved away, and then when หลวงปู่ Bunjan saw หลวงพ่อ, he asked, "How do you practice?" And หลวงพ่อ practice said, "How I practice is that I'm not attaching to the object, I'm not attaching to the mind." So หลวงพ่อ Bunjan shout, "That's not Nibbana. Nibbana cannot be in and out." And then he asked again, "How do you practice?" So หลวงพ่อ repeated his answer. หลวงพ่อ at first thought that because they spoke different dialect, หลวงปู่ Bunjan may not understand what หลวงพ่อ was saying. After หลวงพ่อ replied, หลวงปู่ Bunjan shouted again, "Nibbana is, you cannot come in and out of Nibbana." And then หลวงพ่อ was awakened, and he knew right away that was not Nibbana. It was another type of samatha practice. And he realized that he practiced wrong. And after that event, he went to see Master Luangpu Tet, and he reported that that's what he did. And he thought that was the type of samatha practice. Luangpu Tet replied that that's correct. That was one type of samatha practice, but you can practice that. Luangpu Bunjan, after he awakened หลวงพ่อ stop practice that way, because if you practice that way, you cannot know the suffering. So how หลวงพ่อ practice was evaluating himself, that he knew that it was wrong, because if he stayed in that empty void, he did not know so of the suffering. But the Buddha taught to know so of the suffering. So he knew that he was doing something wrong. And then he had Kalyana Mitra, which is the Master Bunjan, told หลวงพ่อ what he did wrong. When หลวงพ่อ abandoned that type of practice, หลวงปู่ Bunjan laughed out loud. He knew, หลวงปู่ Bunjan knew that หลวงพ่อ would not do the same type of practice again. and then หลวงพ่อ laughed out loud too and then when หลวงปู่ stopped laughing and หลวงพ่อ stopped laughing right away when they both stopped laughing their mind was stable for most people when they laugh after they stop laughing their mind is still wavering inside but when หลวงพ่อ and หลวงปู่บุญจันทร์ stopped their mind was calm stable right away so หลวงปู่บุญจันทร์ told หลวงพ่อ that is all you may go now and then that monk returned to send หลวงพ่อ off and that monk told หลวงพ่อ that หลวงปู่บุญจันทร์ told that monk that today a man will show up the temple get that person and bring that person to me the monk did not understand but that monk followed the teacher's order to the key so he was waiting all evening and throughout the night waiting for หลวงพ่อ to come that is truly the mind of the practitioners that the teaching of the master is very important what they say they follow it to the key this is not the mind of the practitioner these days when the master said be diligent in your practice you may say ka you may say yes master but then you will not follow the guidance of the master the master will say that to keep practicing diligently that you may say that oh, yes I will practice but then when you go home you get lazy so หลวงพ่อ sometimes ponder that the newer generation after his generation they are more they are not as strong as the practitioners before หลวงพ่อ remember because his generation was born right after the World War II there was a lot of burdens they had to fight they have to be strong to survive they cannot be weak when หลวงพ่อ was a student the first school only taught him up to the 4th grade it was a co-ed school but for boys they only taught until the 4th grade but they have more school for the women so he thought to himself where to go to school next and then he went to another second school and it only taught up to 11th grade and then he has to find another school to go to he had to find the new school himself he has to fight his way to get an education when he wanted to go to the university none of his siblings went to the university หลวงพ่อ had a lot of siblings at that time they didn't go to university because they started to work as soon as they could to help out the parents soหลวงพ่อ had to find his way to find the university so he had to find which faculties he would go to so after he graduated from the university he fought his way to find jobs himself so throughout his life หลวงพ่อ had to find his own way even the practice he practiced on his own when the master the teacher told him what to do he kept doing it like when he was only 7 years old master venerable หลวงพ่อ master หลวงพ่อลี told หลวงพ่อ to practiced the breathing meditation. หลวงพ่อ kept doing it
ทำแต่สมาธิอย่างนั้น22 ปี
for 22 years until หลวงปู่ดุล met หลวงพ่อ met หลวงปู่ดุล หลวงปู่ดุล told หลวงพ่อ to observe the mind. หลวงพ่อ also observed the mind for another 22 years. Kept doing that.
ตอนนั้นยังเป็นโยมนะก็ทำกระพร่องกระแพร่งทำเท่าที่ทำได้แต่ไม่ใช่ขี้เกียจอย่างพวกเราหรอก หลวงพ่อ
practiced as much as he could every day without stopping.
ถ้าเราบางคนมาขอพรทำใดที่หลวงพ่อเข้าใจแล้ว
Sometimes a student ask หลวงพ่อ to bless them. หลวงพ่อ would bless them that
ที่หลวงพ่อปฏิบัติแล้วเราต้องปฏิบัติด้วยนะ
that yes, I bless you to attain the Dhamma as I did, but you have to practice the way that I did.
ไม่ใช่ได้ผลเพราะขอนิสัยขี้ขอไม่ใช่ชาวพุทธนะ
For the students
นิสัยที่ต้องต่อสู้เข้มแข็ง
of the Buddha, we have to be strong. Why are your minds are not strong? Do not have enough strength? Because many of you think that this life is still joyful, happy. There are many things that are alluring, exciting. You don't see that this world is full of suffering. That's why you don't have a lot of strength to ascend this world. You only practice more as you want to come to the temple. After you are part from Luang Por, you are lazy again. You may say that you have been practicing for 10 years, but if you truly counting the hours that you practice, how many hours is that? And how many hours that your mind is lost? If you counting that, you said that, oh, I have been practicing for years since the day I started listening to Luang Por. That is not it. How many hours, how many times during the day that you have sati? And how many hours, how many times during the day that your mind is lost? Do you think of the practice often? Or most of the time your mind is lost? There's a saying that some people are doing the offering to save face. Like that means that you want to do good only when there are other people present. Or you are trying to practice because you are about to die. Like if you are in the plane and the plane is shaken, so you practice Putto, Putto, Putto because you are afraid of death. That is not enough. Why are we not very diligent in our practice? Because we do not have a lot of faculties. If your mind is determined enough, that means you have a lot of faculties. But if your mind is, sometimes you feel that, oh, the world is so fun, so happy, very alluring, exciting. That means you don't have enough faculties yet. You have to accumulate more faculties. It's like we are poor. We start with not a lot of money, so you have to be patient and be persistent in trying to make money until you are rich. We are not wealthy as one of those millionaires who did not have to do much and they gain more and more profits every day. Similarly to the Dhamma practice, if you do not have a lot of faculties, you have to cultivate it. It takes time for one to know, so to see the Dhamma, to attain the Dhamma. There are those who have accumulated a lot of faculties already, maybe since from the past life. Some may just move their feet and they know so. They practice by knowing their feet. There's one who practiced by knowing his feet. And then as this person woke up, he could not move his body at all. So he started to move just a little bit of like to tweak his fingers. One finger started with the thumb finger and then 5 fingers and started to move all fingers of the hands. That person, when he could not move the body, he was not frightened. He had sati. And he started to know so that this body is non-self. Sometimes you cannot order the body to move. But as long he's still breathing and still alive, he started to move his fingers and then saw the body start to move. And then as he observed the body move, then he was attaining the correct samadhi. So practice, be diligent in your practice. We practice all the time except the time that you have to work, that you have to use thinking or when you sleep. We don't have a lot of time left for Buddhism to last. Buddhism, the religion is a lot weaker now. So now that you have a chance, set your mind to practice. Give it all you can, because there's not a lot of chance for us to come to encounter Buddhism. There's not a lot of chance left. There was one person who started learning Buddhism, start learning about the practice together with Luangpo. And he said, "Oh, I'll practice later. Then I'll practice more." And now his friend is in his 70s. We said that we will give practice a chance when we are old. But how can you be sure that we're gonna live that long? So everyone, you have to have persistent perseverance to practice. If you learn with Luangpo, don't beg. Don't say that, "Oh, I have this or have that. Why am I not progressing? Why others are progressing?" Luangpo do not like this. You have to fight. If you're weak, then that's why you are not progressing. So be persevered. Don't follow your defilement. Don't be lost in the world. The world is like the bait that lure the fish to fight to catch the bait. Luangpo does not know why now the Dhamma is very fierceful. Maybe someone needs to hear this. So homework reviewing time. I practice formally every day by chanting and doing the walking meditation. Throughout the day, I observe my breath and body movement as the object of my meditation. I am still lost a lot and my mind is busy a lot. I have a lot of anger. Please tell me what to do next. Number one, do you know why you don't see the 3 characteristics? Because your mind is not stable. Right now you are making your mind to be still. Don't let the mind get attached to the stillness. If the mind is stuck with stillness, then you cannot cultivate wisdom. Back away. Back away. Take a breath. Deep breath, and then the mind will withdrawing itself from stillness itself. Let's back away until you are with the world. Can you tell that the mind is leaking dullness as it's coming out?
ดูออกไหมว่าเมื่อกี้จิต
Can you
มัน
tell
ไม่เหมือนตรง
that
นี้นะ
before now, the mind before was with a lot of dullness? So the samadhi that you are doing is the samadhi with dullness, drowsiness. So don't waste your time practice like that. Use the ordinary mind to know so of your body and your mind. That's how we are on the path to cultivate wisdom. If your mind is stuck with dullness, that is the mind that is lazy. So back out. Be ordinary.
ให้กรรมฐานนะต่อไปนี้ร่างกายเคลื่อนไหวรู้สึกร่างกายเคลื่อนไหวรู้สึก
Luangpu is giving you, number one, the object of meditation, which is to know so of the body moving, know so of the mind as they are. Don't let the mind be dull. The mind that is dull will not cultivate wisdom. Now you have the habit of doing the dullness type of samadhi. Be normal, be a normal human. Have the ordinary mind. Ordinary mind is proper, is proper to cultivate wisdom. You should move your body more and know so of the body moving. Keep moving your body and know so. Don't over-focus on the movement. Just knowing so of the body moving. Your mind is stuck with the samadhi that is tainted with dullness. So keep know so of the body moving. Just move the body naturally. You don't have to try to force the body to move. Or if you force the body to move, although the body may move, but the mind can wander off. That is not it. Can you tell that now the mind try to move to the same way that you have the habit of? Number two. In formal practice, I chant and I sit. I observe my body breathing and I use Butto as I breathe. I can see my mind is busy. It doesn't stay with the Butto. Throughout the day, I would know so of my body moving. Also observe the mind. Am I practice correctly? Do I practice correctly? Luangpu replied that yes, correct. And the world is always full of problems. There will be. It's normal. That is just the way the world is. So you should keep practicing. Pay less attention to the world. Just only when it is necessary. Give more time to observe your body and your mind. Your mind is still attracted to the world. Luangpu is not tricking you, so try that. Number three. I use my body as the object of meditation. Throughout the day, I observe my development arise and fall. My mind is very busy. Some days my mind is busy throughout all day. Sometimes the defilement when it arises is very strong. And sometimes I do not know when it falls. Please tell me if this samadhi is correct. Luangpu say that when the defilement arises, usually when you start to practice, you don't see when the defilement falls. When you may see it arise, and then the mind go to something else, so you don't see when the defilement falls. But as you practice more and more, and you have better samadhi, you will see the defilement arise and fall. But what you are doing is correct. There's nothing of this world. Fight your defilement try to not let them overcome you. Be strong. Keep practicing. Know so of yourself more often. Don't make the mind like that. Right now, your mind is like it has revenge toward defilement. Now it's better. Right now, you try to hold on to your mind. The good mind is the ordinary mind. The ordinary mind is also the normal mind. So when your mind is ordinary, whatever that would try to come to taint your mind, you will know so of that. The ordinary mind is always have the fabrication. So if you have the ordinary mind, you will see the fabrication. Don't let the mind be still. So keep practice like that. It's better now. The good mind is the ordinary mind. When you have the ordinary mind, use this ordinary mind to learn about your body and your mind. And then you will see when something is not ordinary would arise in your body and your mind, then you know so of that. Those are the fabrication. And then the mind can know so of those fabrication. And you will see that those fabrication, it would rise, it would come in and would go away. The mind got stuck again. Right now it's just correct. The correct is right now. But when you have the correct mind, it's only last momentary, and then you will start to fabricate again. But when you start to fabricate again, know so. That's good. This is a good mind. It's not good again. Can you tell? Is that you try to fabricate the mind again. When Luang Pa said, "Oh, that's a good mind," you try to say, "Oh, what's that? What is that good mind look like?" So you are having craving, wanting to see the good mind. Number 4. I chant, I sit and meditate and observe myself, breathe and say put, breathe out and say do. When I sit and meditate, my mind is calm. Sometimes I feel that the mind wander off. And then after it wanders off, I know so of my breath again. Throughout the day, I don't have the object of my meditation yet. I don't know how to cultivate wisdom. Please tell me what to do. Number 4, you practice well in terms of samadhi practice. How to cultivate wisdom from this point is not difficult. Can you tell? Can you see that sometimes the mind is bright and happy, joyful? Sometimes the next moment the mind can be the fabricator. The mind is wholesome and unwholesome, but they are impermanent. It rises and falls. The noble mind is temporary. The mind that is lost is temporary. You can cultivate wisdom looking at this. Your samadhi is good. You have the correct samadhi. Is a samadhi with sati. Number 1, 2, 3. They are still practicing samadhi with not enough sati. Number 1, practice samadhi with that the mind is over focusing. Number 2, practice samadhi that the samadhi is with the dullness. Number 4, you have correct samadhi. And then you should see that the mind that is peaceful is temporary, is impermanent. The mind that is peaceful is impermanent. You can cultivate wisdom when you practice samadhi. And as you practice, you can see that this body is like a shell for the mind to reside with. So as you exit the samadhi, you can observe the body. And as number 4, observe the mind as he in samadhi. Number 4 can observe that all types of mind are impermanent. Number 4, you practice very well. Not many people can practice like this because most people in this generation do not have good samadhi. Number 5, I try to keep my moral precept well, and I try to have practice samadhi all the time. When I sit and when I lay down, I try to know so of my breath. Sometimes when I do the walking meditation, I recite some verse and I try to know so of my body moving. And I know that I'm still running away from the suffering. I know that my practice is not correct, and I found the answer after I listened to your Dhamma teaching. Please tell me what to do next. Paul replied, keep practicing. Right now, your mind does not have samadhi. The mind is out. Can you tell? When the mind is not at the home base, you don't have to pull it back in. The mind is busy and out. Just know so of that. And the mind will return to yourself. When you know so of the mind that is out, the mind that is busy, with the mind that with equanimity, the mind will return on its own. So as the mind moved out, you don't have to try to fix it. Just keep practicing, and then the mind, and know so, and the mind will return on its own. Number 5, you practice well. Number 6. In formal practice, I do the walking meditation, I do the sitting meditation, and I chant. Throughout the day, I try to know so my body moving. My mind is busy a lot. I try to recite mantra throughout the day, but my mind is often lost. I cannot really practice throughout the day, and I don't have a lot of equanimity, but I keep practicing every day. Please tell me what to do next. Luang Por say to have perseverance, keep practicing every day, and then one day you will see, you will understand. Luang Por asked, are you easily saddened by others? Because you give value to other people's opinion, so don't be weakened by that. It will sadden your mind, but be persevere, and then you will be better and better. You don't have to give values to other people's opinions or words. This is our own path. We have to do it ourselves. You don't have to worry about the future, the past. Keep practicing. It's good that what you are doing. And number 8. Number 8, keep disconnecting. So let's do number 8 first. Number 8, practice in the morning and before bed. I sit and I chant the verse as I sit and do the meditation. After exit meditation, my mind felt awakened, brightened. Sometimes I can see the feelings are impermanent. When I'm happy, unhappy, or when my mind is lost, I can tell that better now. Can I use the breathing as the object of my meditation? Luang Por said yes. Let's know so of your mind when the mind is irritated or angry. Those minds are easier to observe for you. As soon as you start, you will see the mind that is with anger more easily because the angry mind is more prominent, and then you will start to see other type of defilement. Number seven, in the formal practice, I chant and I do the walking meditation. Throughout the day, I observe my body moving, and I observe my mind that it is busy, it is lost. Sometimes I cannot tell what my mind is like. I pay less attention to the things outside myself. It's good that you are not interested in other things outside yourself. If you are mingled with the things outside yourself, it is constant suffering. It's good to observe oneself. It's good that we do not pay attention to the outside only when it is necessary. What Luang Por would like to advise you is that don't be lost in your thought for too long. Sometimes your mind is lost in thought for a long time. If you started to see that your mind is lost in your thought, know so of your body, because the body doesn't think. So keep knowing so of your body. Your main defilement is your ego. If you are lost in your thought, you will lose time getting lost in your thought. Everyone's weakness is different. Like number seven often lost in thought. Just keep knowing so when the mind is lost in thought and come back to the body. For some, they are lost in lust, in craving, because they are lost in the world. For some, they have a lot of self, a lot of ego, so they are lost in that. So everyone's weakness is different. Just know so of that. Know so of the defilement that would slow you down. The more you know of that, you will prosper more. Everyone in this hall should also see which is your weakness. For example, if you are only craving for comfy, then if you're stuck in that, lost in that, it will slow you down. Or if are you lost in your ego, that you are the best, or you feel different opposite side. If you have the opposite of the ego, that you feel that you are not as good as anybody else, you can be lost in that too. Know so of that. Or some are lost in thinking too much about Dhamma, that you are lost in these thoughts all the time. So come back out to know so of the body and the mind at the present. Don't pay attention, don't compare yourself to others. That is not lost in your ego. Not lost in your belief in your own thought. That is also practice not getting lost in your ego, in your own thoughts. That is all the Dhamma talk for today. Today, Luang Por speaks very fast. If you have to transcribe this, you may be exhausted. That is all. Anumodana.